The dense jungle of Kael'thar was alive with colors and sounds that no human eye had ever truly seen before. Towering trees with silver bark glimmered under the twin suns, and glowing vines twisted around their trunks like ribbons of light. In the distance, the air shimmered with the presence of flying creatures, their translucent wings scattering tiny rainbows in the sunlight. But the beauty of the jungle hid a deadly truth. Kael'thar was a place where only the clever, the fast, and the brave could survive. Among the undergrowth moved a lone human, his boots crunching softly on the luminescent moss. His name was Marcus Rylan, an interstellar explorer known for venturing into worlds where even the bravest soldiers feared to tread. Marcus was not like other humans who had grown soft on the peaceful colonies. He had grown up in the outer belts, on asteroid stations where every day was a struggle for survival. That hard life had taught him to stay alert, to trust no one entirely, and to act decisively. Marcus adjusted the straps of his utility pack and checked the scanning device in his hand. The scanner beeped softly, detecting the faint trace of organic life moving ahead. He stopped, crouched low, and peered through the dense foliage. That's when he saw her. She was unlike anything he had ever imagined. Tall and graceful, with skin that shimmered like liquid metal, she moved with a fluid elegance that seemed almost unreal. Her eyes were a striking shade of violet, luminous in the dim light under the canopy, and they seemed to hold intelligence far beyond human comprehension. Marcus recognized her instantly from the files he had studied, the files from the Intergalactic Council about alien species that humanity had only observed from afar. She was the queen of the Xiari, a species known for both their wisdom and their deadly protection of their homeworlds. Marcus swallowed hard. This is insane, he muttered to himself. No human had ever come this close to a Xiari queen without provoking her guards. And yet here she was, seemingly unaware of him, or perhaps simply choosing to ignore him. Suddenly a sharp whistle cut through the air. Marcus's heart jumped. From the shadows, a group of Xiari warriors emerged, their armor reflecting the soft glow of the jungle. But unlike the queen, their expressions were rigid, alert, and deadly. Marcus knew he had no chance in a direct confrontation. He ducked behind a thick tree trunk, hoping they wouldn't notice him. Then came the danger he hadn't anticipated. A loud twang echoed through the jungle, followed by the faint hiss of a poisoned arrow slicing through the air. Marcus's eyes widened in horror as he saw it heading straight for the queen. Her guards were frozen, too far, too slow. In that split second, Marcus made a decision that would change his life forever. He leapt from his hiding place, throwing his body in the path of the arrow. The metal-tipped projectile struck his shoulder, embedding itself in the armor. Pain exploded through him, but he gritted his teeth and pushed the queen to the side. The arrow's poison had already begun to seep into his bloodstream, and Marcus felt a sharp, burning numbness spreading through his arm. But the queen was safe. The guards finally reacted, raising their weapons and driving back the attackers. The intruders scattered, disappearing into the jungle, leaving Marcus panting on the ground. His vision blurred, and he fell back against the tree, trying to breathe through the pain. The queen knelt beside him, her violet eyes wide with concern. She placed a delicate, glowing hand on his chest. "Are you alive?" she whispered, her voice musical yet firm. Marcus coughed, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth, and managed a weak smile. "Yeah, just barely," he said. The poison burned through him like fire, but he refused to show fear. Humans were resilient, he reminded himself. Pain was temporary. Survival was everything. The queen studied him for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Then she nodded. "You saved my life," she said. "Many would have let me die, but you chose differently." Marcus struggled to sit upright. "I didn't do it for glory," he said. "I didn't even know what would happen. I just reacted." His hand shook as he pressed against the wound, trying to slow the venom's effect. "Bravery is not always about choice," the queen replied softly. "Sometimes it is instinct. But your instinct was honorable. Uncommon among your kind." Marcus blinked. "Uncommon? Is that supposed to be a compliment?" She smiled faintly. "Yes, among humans such actions are rare. Most think only of themselves." Her gaze softened. "You have the heart of a protector. That is why I owe you more than words can convey." Before Marcus could respond, her guards lifted him gently, carrying him to a nearby clearing where the sunlight filtered through the treetops. The clearing was filled with vibrant flowering plants, their petals releasing sparkling pollen into the air. The Queen's attendants began treating his wound with advanced alien technology. A soft, glowing liquid was applied to the arrow wound, neutralizing the poison almost instantly. Marcus gasped as the pain faded, leaving only a dull ache. He looked at the Queen. How are you unharmed?" he asked. She waved her hand elegantly. "The Queen is always protected. The arrow was meant to test our defenses. You passed the test in a way that no one else could." Her eyes narrowed slightly. "Though next time I hope your bravery does not put you in such danger." Marcus chuckled weakly. "Next time, yeah. I doubt there will be a next time. This might be the closest I get to a heroic story." The Queen's laughter was soft but musical. "Perhaps, but for now you are here. And I am grateful. You will recover quickly, I assure you. Our technology heals even the deepest of wounds in moments." Marcus let himself be carried to a large, semi-transparent pavilion at the edge of the clearing. The walls shimmered with a soft blue light and the air hummed with energy. As he lay on a cushioned platform, the Queen remained nearby, her presence both calming and intimidating. "You risked your life for me," she said again. "Many would consider that a debt impossible to repay, but I believe that some debts can be repaid in unexpected ways." Marcus raised an eyebrow, skeptical. "Unexpected ways?" The Queen's gaze softened even more. "Yes, one day you may understand. But for now, rest. Your body needs strength. And your mind? I suspect it is as sharp as your courage." As Marcus drifted into a light sleep, he thought about what had just happened. He had come to Kael'thar expecting danger, yes, but never a chance encounter with an alien queen. And he certainly hadn't expected that a simple act of instinct, throwing himself in the path of an arrow, would set off a chain of events that could change the course of his life forever. When he awoke, the Queen was still there, watching him with a quiet intensity. "You have survived the first trial," she said. "But survival is only the beginning. There is a path ahead, Marcus Rylan. A path that few humans have ever walked, and it will demand more from you than courage alone." Marcus sat up slowly, wincing at the stiffness in his muscles. "I don't even know what the next step is," he admitted. The Queen smiled faintly. "That, my brave human, is the question we will answer together. For you are no longer merely a visitor on Kael'thar. You have touched the heart of our people, and that changes everything." Marcus didn't know whether to feel honored or terrified. The Queen's words carried weight he could barely comprehend. But one thing was certain. The adventure he had stumbled into was far from over. And whatever lay ahead, it would test every skill, every instinct, and every ounce of courage he possessed. The first part of his story had ended with an arrow, and yet, in that moment, Marcus realized that perhaps his story had only just begun. Marcus woke to a soft, pulsating light filling the pavilion. The blue glow of the walls bathed the room in a calm, almost magical aura. His shoulder, where the arrow had struck, felt stronger than he expected. The alien medicine had worked better than anything he had ever experienced on human worlds. The Queen stood at the edge of the room, her violet eyes watching him with curiosity and what seemed like quiet amusement. "You have awakened," she said softly. "Good. There is much to discuss, and time is not always patient on Kael'thar." Marcus swung his legs off the cushioned platform and rubbed his neck. "You mean I have survived? But now what? I don't even know why I am still alive." "You are alive because you acted with courage and selflessness," she replied. "Those qualities are rare, even among humans. Your actions, they mark you as someone who can walk paths others dare not tread." Marcus hesitated. "Paths? I didn't come here to be some hero. I came here to explore, maybe document some strange wildlife, maybe." He stopped, noticing how the Queen was studying him intently. Her expression was unreadable, but there was an undeniable weight to it, as if her next words could change the direction of his life entirely. "You are correct," she said finally. "You did not come as a hero. You acted without thought for yourself. That is what makes you remarkable. And remarkable humans, they are considered worthy among my people." Marcus frowned. "Worthy for what?" The Queen walked toward him, each step elegant, deliberate. "For a bond that transcends species," she said. "A union between one who is brave, one who protects life, and one who leads a people with wisdom and strength." Marcus blinked. His heart skipped a beat. "Union, are you saying?" The Queen nodded. "Yes, I am speaking of marriage, Marcus Rylan. Among the Jari, such a union is not merely a personal choice. It is a statement of trust, respect, and alliance, and I have chosen you. Marcus stared at her, trying to process the words. Marriage with an alien queen? He had always imagined himself traveling through the stars, discovering new worlds, learning about life beyond Earth. But this was beyond anything he could have prepared for. I don't even know your customs, he said, shaking his head. I'm a human. You're a queen. How does this even make sense? The queen's gaze softened. That is exactly why I chose you. Humans are not bound by the strict codes of the Xiari. They act in ways that are unpredictable, often guided by instinct rather than protocol. Your instincts saved my life, Marcus, and it is because of those instincts that you are worthy of this honor. Marcus swallowed hard. Worthy or doomed? He muttered. The queen's lips curved in a faint, enigmatic smile. Perhaps both. But life without courage is far less meaningful, is it not? Marcus chuckled nervously. He ran a hand through his hair. I think I need a moment to adjust to this idea. Marriage to a queen on an alien world. He trailed off, trying to find words that would not sound foolish. The queen crouched slightly, coming closer. You need not speak immediately. There is a ceremony, yes, but it is not today. Today you must learn about Kael'thar, its people, and the responsibilities that come with such a bond. Marcus nodded slowly. Responsibilities. Like what? The queen straightened and motioned for him to follow her. Come. You must see the palace and meet those who will guide your understanding. You cannot walk this path alone, nor can you ignore the customs of my people. Knowledge is the first step toward trust. The journey through the jungle was unlike anything Marcus had ever experienced. The queen moved with an almost supernatural grace, and Marcus struggled to keep pace, though his human stamina had improved over years of exploration. Towering structures of crystalline material emerged from the trees, shimmering in the sunlight. Bridges of glowing vines connected platforms high above the forest floor. Every surface pulsed with energy, a living part of the jungle itself. Is this alive? Marcus asked, pointing to one of the crystalline towers that seemed to shift slightly as he looked at it. Yes, the queen replied. Our architecture is not separate from nature. It is an extension of life on Kael'thar. Our cities breathe, grow, and respond to those who inhabit them. You will come to understand this more deeply in time. As they entered the palace, Marcus saw Xiari citizens moving gracefully through halls that seemed to glow with an inner light. Their eyes, like the queen's but less intense, watched him with curiosity. Some bowed slightly, acknowledging his presence. He realized that here, his actions mattered as much as his words. The queen's choice would place him in a position of visibility, influence, and scrutiny. Inside a vast chamber, Marcus was introduced to the Council of Elders. Each elder radiated wisdom and age, their skin shimmering in soft metallic hues. The queen explained, These are the ones who will teach you the ways of our people. They will guide you in understanding our culture, our laws, and the responsibilities that come with the bond we consider sacred. Marcus nodded, trying to absorb every detail. He realized that saying yes to the queen's proposal would not merely be a personal decision. It would be a commitment to an entire species, a path that few humans could even imagine. The elders observed him in silence. Then one spoke. You have saved the queen's life. That is noted. But bravery alone does not make one worthy of trust or union. You must demonstrate understanding, compassion, and respect for Kael'thar and its people. I understand, Marcus said. I'll do my best. I've faced dangers, but this is different. I don't just have to survive, I have to belong. The queen's hand touched his shoulder lightly. Belonging is not immediate. It grows over time through actions and choices. You will have opportunities to prove yourself, not to me alone, but to all who call Kael'thar home. Marcus spent the next hours moving through the palace, learning the basics of Xiari life. He saw training grounds where young Xiari practiced agility and combat techniques. He visited gardens that glowed with bioluminescent flowers that sang softly when touched. He observed rituals of respect, where citizens acknowledged one another with gestures and words that carried deep significance. Throughout it all, the queen remained at his side. She answered his questions patiently, guiding him through traditions he had never imagined. Marcus realized that every aspect of her world demanded attention, awareness, and thoughtfulness. He began to understand why she had chosen him, not for power, not for lineage, but for qualities that transcended species. courage, instinct, and a willingness to act selflessly. As the twin suns began to set, casting the jungle in shades of gold and violet, Marcus and the Queen walked along a high bridge overlooking the forest. The wind carried scents of flowering plants, and the hum of life below was constant and calming. "You have done well today," the Queen said softly. "You have observed, asked questions, and respected our ways. That is the beginning of what it means to be part of Kael'thar, Marcus." "I feel overwhelmed," Marcus admitted. "This is so much more than I ever imagined. But at the same time, I can't help feeling like I'm where I'm supposed to be." Strange as it sounds, the Queen's eyes sparkled in the fading light. "It is natural to feel uncertainty. What matters is the choice you make in the face of that uncertainty. Will you continue this path with courage? Will you accept the bond I offer?" Marcus looked out over the jungle, the glowing trees stretching endlessly, the sounds of life echoing around him. He thought about the arrow, the moment he had risked his life without hesitation, and the realization that his actions had altered the course of not just his life, but the life of a queen and her people. I don't know everything yet," he said finally, "but I do know this: I saved you because I had to. I acted without thinking of myself, and if that's the kind of person you want by your side, then I will continue. I will try. I'll learn. I'll be worthy." The Queen smiled, a brilliant, almost otherworldly smile. "That is all I ask. Worthiness is not immediate, Marcus. It is forged in choices, actions, and respect. You have taken the first step, and that is all that matters for now." As darkness fell over Kael'thar, the glowing city and the forest below shimmered in soft luminescence. Marcus felt both excitement and trepidation. The bond the Queen had offered was more than a promise. It was a challenge, a responsibility, and perhaps the beginning of a destiny he had never dreamed of. And for the first time in his life, Marcus realized that survival was no longer enough. He would need to rise not just for himself but for a queen, a people, and a world that had chosen to place its trust in a human. The following days on Kael'thar were a whirlwind for Marcus. Every hour brought new lessons, new experiences, and new challenges. He learned about Giari history, their intricate communication methods, and the delicate balance between nature, technology, and society. The Queen remained by his side, observing, guiding, and occasionally testing him in ways that Marcus did not always understand. But Kael'thar was not a world without danger. News reached the Queen that a faction from a neighboring planet, the Crithans, had taken interest in her presence. The Crithans were known for their cunning and their desire to control resources and influence. Their ships were fast, their weapons lethal, and their intentions clear. They wanted the Giari Queen, or at least a way to bend her people to their rule. Marcus's first thought was alarm. "They can't be allowed near you," he exclaimed. The Queen's expression remained calm. "They will try. That is inevitable. But what is important is how we respond. The Crithans respect strength, strategy, and honor. They will test us. And I wish for you to see this firsthand, Marcus, to understand that survival is not always enough. Sometimes one must act decisively with courage and wisdom." Marcus nodded, though his heart raced. He had faced danger on many worlds, but the stakes here were unlike anything he had experienced. This was not only about him surviving. It was about protecting a queen, a people, and an entire world. The Queen led him to the council chamber, where holographic displays mapped the nearby space. The Queen gestured to a point on the map. "These are the Crithan ships. They are on a trajectory toward Kael'thar. Their intention is clear. We can attempt negotiation, but they will test our strength. This is where you will learn the meaning of true courage." Marcus studied the display. "Test our strength? You mean fight them?" "Perhaps," the Queen said softly. "Perhaps diplomacy will succeed. But understand, Marcus, they will judge us by our willingness to defend ourselves and our people. Humans often underestimate this. But strength is not only in weapons, it is in decisiveness, honor, and the courage to act when others hesitate." Hours later, Marcus found himself standing on a high platform overlooking the jungle and the glowing palace structures. The Queen and her council were nearby, monitoring the sky. Marcus's gaze followed the horizon, and soon he saw the sleek, dark shapes of Crithan ships approaching. Their engines sent streaks of light across the atmosphere, cutting through the soft glow of Kael'thar's twin suns. The Queen placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. "You will see, Marcus, that courage is often about more than survival. It is about making choices that define who you are and how others see you. Watch carefully." Marcus watched as the Crathan ships descended toward the palace. At first, there was no communication, no response. The air was tense, electric with anticipation. Then a message projected into the sky, a holographic image of a Crathan leader. "You have something that belongs to us," the hologram said. Its voice was harsh, metallic, almost cruel. "The Queen of the Jari will come with us or your world will burn." "Do not resist," Marcus's fist clenched. "They have no idea who they're dealing with," he muttered. The Queen nodded calmly. "Do not underestimate them. But also, do not underestimate what is possible when humans and Jari act together." The Crathans waited, as if expecting a weak response, and for a moment Marcus felt fear, as anyone would. But then he remembered the arrow, the moment when he had thrown himself in harm's way to protect the Queen. He remembered the trust she had placed in him, the belief that humans could act bravely without hesitation. "You're right," he whispered to himself. "We can do this. We have to." The Queen spoke, her voice carrying across the platform with calm authority. "Crathans, we do not submit. We will protect our people, our home, and our Queen. If you wish to test us, do so with respect. Strength and honor will guide the outcome." There was silence, as if the Crathan leader had not expected such a direct response. Then, without warning, the ships fired a barrage toward the palace. Energy beams streaked across the sky, striking defensive shields that glimmered around the city. The shockwave rattled the platform and Marcus was thrown slightly off balance. "Defensive positions," the Queen commanded. Her voice was precise, sharp, yet not unkind. "Marcus, stay close. Watch and learn." The human watched as the Jari citizens moved with incredible speed and coordination. Shields adjusted, energy barriers shifted, and countermeasures deployed. The Crathans were skilled, but the Jari defenses were unlike anything Marcus had ever seen. And yet, the Queen's presence, her calm confidence, was the real strength in the chaos. Then came a moment of sudden crisis. One of the Crathan ships bypassed the defenses, diving toward the platform where Marcus and the Queen stood. A beam of energy seared toward them. Marcus reacted instantly, leaping in front of the Queen, just as he had with the arrow. His body took the brunt of the attack, his armor absorbing the impact. But sparks and heat scorched his suit. The Queen's eyes widened, and she placed her hand on his chest, sending a wave of energy that pushed Marcus safely backward. The ship had not anticipated such rapid counteraction. Marcus felt the heat of the blast fade, replaced by adrenaline and determination. "You, again," the Queen whispered, a mix of concern and admiration in her voice. "You protect without hesitation." Marcus shook his head, breathing heavily. I learned from the first time. I won't let anything happen to you." The battle continued, each side testing the other, but the Crathans soon realized that the Jari, with the Queen's guidance, were not to be underestimated. Marcus, though human, played his part, demonstrating courage and quick thinking. At one point, he redirected a disabled drone into the path of an enemy ship, causing it to veer off course and crash harmlessly into the jungle below. Finally, after hours of maneuvering, the Crathans retreated. Their ships accelerated away, disappearing into the atmosphere, leaving only the hum of the jungle and the glowing city below. The Queen turned to Marcus, her expression soft but serious. "You have seen what courage means here," she said. "It is not merely about facing danger. It is about understanding, strategy, and knowing when to act. You have done more than survive today. You have shown strength, wisdom, and heart. And for that, I honor you." Marcus wiped sweat from his brow, trying to catch his breath. "Honor me? How?" The Queen's gaze held his. "By making the choice to walk this path with me, by accepting not only the bond I have offered, but the responsibilities it entails. You have demonstrated that you are worthy, Marcus Rylan, and worthy humans. They are rare in any world." Marcus stared at her, the weight of her words sinking in. He realized that the events of the day were not just a test of survival, but a measure of character. And he had passed. I accept, he said finally, his voice firm despite exhaustion. "I'll walk this path with you. I'll do my best to learn, to protect, and to be worthy of your trust." The Queen's eyes sparkled in the fading light. "That is all I ask. And, Marcus, know this. The bond we share is not merely personal. It is a symbol to my people, to those who watch us, and to the universe. Your courage, your choices, and your honor now matter far beyond what you imagined." As the twin suns set, casting the glowing jungle in shades of violet and gold, Marcus felt a sense of purpose unlike anything he had known. He was no longer simply an explorer. an observer of alien worlds. He was a participant, a protector, and a partner in a story that spanned species, worlds, and the stars themselves. The Queen extended her hand, and Marcus took it, feeling an energy that was both comforting and powerful. The bond was not yet formalized, not yet complete, but the first steps had been taken. And as they looked out over Kael'thar, the glowing forest and the palace that seemed alive with light, Marcus knew that this was only the beginning. Tomorrow, the lessons would continue. Challenges would come, and the Chrythons might return. But for now, Marcus allowed himself a moment of pride and calm. He had survived not just by instinct, but by choice, and that choice had earned him the trust, respect, and perhaps even the beginnings of something far greater than he had ever imagined. The day after the Chrython attack, Kael'thar was alive with renewed energy. The jungle's glow seemed brighter. The crystalline towers reflected the sunlight with a brilliance that almost stung the eyes, and Giari citizens moved through the city with purpose. Marcus felt a mixture of awe and nervousness. The events of the previous day had changed everything. He had acted with courage, earned the Queen's trust, and survived danger. Yet now he faced a different challenge, understanding the politics, customs, and expectations of the Giari court. The Queen led him through a corridor of polished crystalline walls, their surfaces alive with flowing patterns of light. "Marcus," she said, her voice calm but firm, "you have demonstrated courage in battle. That is commendable, but you must understand that the bond I offer is not just personal. It carries responsibilities among my people. You must learn the ways of diplomacy, respect, and protocol." Marcus nodded, though his head felt heavy with the weight of it all. "I'm ready to learn. I'll do my best." The Queen paused at a doorway and gestured for him to enter. "This is the Hall of Council. Here the elders and advisors meet to discuss the affairs of Kael'thar and its relations with other worlds. Today you will observe, tomorrow you will participate." Marcus took a deep breath and stepped inside. The hall was vast, illuminated by the soft glow of the walls and ceiling. Figures in flowing metallic robes gathered around a circular platform at the center. Their faces were serious, their eyes bright and attentive. Marcus recognized some of them from the council of elders he had met earlier. The Queen approached the center, her presence commanding attention. "Esteemed council," she began, her voice carrying effortlessly, "we have faced a threat from the Chrythons. Today we discuss not only defense but also the responsibilities of those who walk this path with me. There is one among us who acted with courage and selflessness, the human Marcus Rylan." The hall fell silent. Marcus felt all eyes turned to him. The weight of their gaze pressed on him, but he held his posture straight. He remembered the arrow, the attack, and his instinct to protect the Queen. He could not falter now. One of the elders, a tall figure with silver-blue skin, spoke first. "The human protected the Queen. That is noted. But can he understand the complexities of our society? Can he respect the traditions and the authority of Kael'thar while maintaining his bond with the Queen?" Marcus swallowed. I do not know everything," he admitted, "but I am willing to learn. I will do my best to understand your ways, to respect your customs, and to act in ways that honor both the Queen and your people." A murmur passed through the hall. Some faces showed approval, others doubt. The Queen stepped forward, placing her hand lightly on Marcus's arm. "Learning is part of growth," she said softly. "He has demonstrated the qualities that matter most: courage, honor, and the instinct to protect life. Knowledge and understanding will follow with time. You will judge him not solely by what he knows today, but by his actions tomorrow and beyond." The elders nodded, some with hesitation, others with curiosity. One elder, older than the rest, spoke last. "Very well. He will observe today and he will act tomorrow. Actions speak louder than words. Let the human prove his worth in the world of Kael'thar." Marcus exhaled slowly, relief washing over him. Observation, at least for today, was manageable. He took a seat on the platform, watching as the council discussed matters of defense, resource management, and diplomacy with neighboring worlds. He listened carefully, trying to absorb the language, the gestures, and the subtle ways in which decisions were influenced by both logic and tradition. After hours of observation, the Queen led him to a quiet garden high above the city. The air was filled with the scent of bioluminescent flowers, their petals shimmering softly in the light. Small pools of glowing water reflected the twin suns, creating a peaceful, almost magical atmosphere. Today was only the beginning, the Queen said, sitting beside him. Tomorrow you will act. You will participate in a diplomatic meeting with a delegation from the planet Eridani. They are curious about our strength, our alliances, and our relationship with the Queen. They will test not only our words but our composure and unity. You must be prepared, Marcus frowned. Me, I'm not a diplomat. I'm human. I barely understand your customs, the Queen smiled faintly. Exactly. That is why your presence matters. Humans are unpredictable, yes, but also genuine. You speak with honesty and courage. Those qualities can influence others more than formal language ever could. You will see tomorrow that sometimes courage and integrity are stronger than any polished speech. That night, Marcus could hardly sleep. He lay on a soft platform in the Queen's pavilion, listening to the distant hum of the glowing jungle. He thought about the Krythan attack, the Council's scrutiny, and the diplomatic meeting that awaited him. For the first time, he realized that his bond with the Queen was no longer about a single act of bravery. It was about becoming part of her world, understanding her people, and walking a path that would demand more than instinct. When morning came, Marcus felt a mixture of anxiety and determination. The Queen met him at the pavilion entrance. Remember, she said, be yourself but be mindful. Observe, listen, and speak with honesty. Your courage and integrity are your greatest tools. Marcus nodded, straightening his posture. I'll do my best. They traveled to the grand hall where the Eridani delegation awaited. The delegates were tall, with pale green skin and elongated limbs. Their eyes were sharp, assessing, and they spoke with precise, clipped tones. Marcus felt their gaze, weighing him even before he had spoken. The Queen began the introductions, her voice commanding yet graceful. Marcus followed her lead, bowing slightly in respect to the delegation. One of the Eridani delegates, a woman with piercing amber eyes, stepped forward. You are the human who saved the Jari Queen? She asked. Her tone carried both curiosity and skepticism. Marcus nodded. Yes, I acted without hesitation. I wanted to ensure her safety. The Eridani delegate studied him, her eyes narrowing slightly. Humans are known for rashness. How do we know this action was not reckless? Marcus met her gaze. It was not reckless. I chose to protect someone who could not protect herself in that moment. I did not act for recognition or reward. I acted because it was the right thing to do. A silence followed. The Queen smiled faintly, a hint of pride in her eyes. The Eridani delegate's expression softened slightly, as if Marcus's words carried a weight that no argument or demonstration of power could replicate. The meeting continued, with discussions about trade, protection, and alliances. Marcus found himself participating, offering insights based on his experiences as an explorer, and sometimes speaking from instinct when decisions needed clarity. The delegates listened, and gradually the tension in the room eased. Marcus realized that his human perspective, coupled with courage and honesty, earned respect in ways he had never imagined. By the time the meeting concluded, the Eridani delegation had left with a newfound understanding of Kael'thar's strength and the bond between the Queen and her human protector. The Queen turned to Marcus, her violet eyes gleaming. You see, she said, actions, honesty, and courage speak louder than words alone. Today you have proven that your presence here is not only accepted but respected. You have begun to walk the path of trust among my people. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. I feel like I'm learning fast, but there's still so much I don't understand. That is the journey, the Queen replied. Understanding comes with time, experience, and observation. And you, Marcus, are learning quickly because you act with heart and integrity. That is rare. That is what makes humans remarkable. As they walked back to the pavilion, Marcus realized that the Queen's proposal was no longer just a personal matter. It had become intertwined with the politics, diplomacy, and honor of Kael'thar. He felt the weight of responsibility, yet also the thrill of belonging to something greater than himself. That evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the glowing jungle, Marcus stood beside the Queen on a balcony overlooking the city. The soft hum of life in Kael'thar surrounded them. You've done well today, the Queen said, her voice calm and soft. But tomorrow you will face new challenges. The path you walk with me will test not only courage but judgment, patience, and wisdom. Are you ready to continue? Marcus looked out over the jungle, his heart steady despite the enormity of the journey ahead. "I'm ready. I'll keep learning and I'll keep protecting, and I'll keep trying to be worthy of your trust and your bond." The Queen's eyes shone with pride. Then the path continues, Marcus Rylan. Together, we will face what comes, and together, we will shape the future of Kael'thar. And as the glowing lights of the city shimmered around them, Marcus felt a sense of purpose, belonging, and determination that he had never known. He understood now that the bond he shared with the Queen was more than honor, more than courage. It was the beginning of a journey that would define both their lives, and perhaps the fate of Kael'thar itself. The morning sun rose over Kael'thar, casting long beams of golden light through the towering crystalline structures. The city shimmered, alive with anticipation. Today was not an ordinary day. Today Marcus would take the next step in his journey, not just as an explorer or protector, but as a partner to the Queen of the Giari. Marcus stood in the pavilion, adjusting his armor, which had been repaired and polished by the Giari engineers. The suit gleamed in the soft light, a symbol not only of protection but of readiness. His thoughts raced, filled with memories of the Arrow, the Krithin attack, and the lessons of diplomacy he had learned. He was ready, but the weight of responsibility still pressed upon him. The Queen entered, her presence immediately filling the room. Her violet eyes met his, and for a moment the chaos of the past days faded. "Marcus," she said softly, "today is a day of choice, honor, and trust. The bond we have begun will now be formalized before my people. You have shown courage, wisdom, and heart. Are you ready to take this step?" Marcus met her gaze, his mind steady. "I am ready," he said firmly. "I'll honor this bond, protect you, and respect your people. I'm ready for whatever comes next." The Queen's lips curved into a faint smile. "Then come. The city awaits, and the council will gather to witness the formal acknowledgement of your bond." As they walked through the glowing streets, Marcus noticed that citizens paused, watching them pass. Some whispered, some bowed slightly, and others simply observed with awe. The events of the Krithin attack and Marcus's bravery had not gone unnoticed. In a way he had never imagined, the humans' actions had already earned respect among the Giari. They reached the central plaza, where a circular platform of crystal awaited. The air was alive with soft energy, and the glow of the city made the entire scene surreal. The council of elders, advisors, and representatives from other cities had gathered. Marcus felt their eyes on him, measuring him, expecting him to act with integrity and honor. The Queen stepped onto the platform first, her presence commanding attention. She turned to the assembled crowd. "Citizens of Kael'thar," she began, her voice carrying effortlessly. "We gather today to witness a bond that transcends not only life but species. A bond forged through courage, choice, and trust. Marcus Rylan, the human who saved my life, stands with me to formalize this union, a union that signifies mutual respect, honor, and the protection of life." Marcus stepped forward, his heart steady. The weight of his choice pressed upon him, yet he stood tall. He had acted without hesitation before, and now he acted with thought, with understanding, and with commitment. One of the elders, a figure with silver-blue skin and eyes that seemed to pierce through pretense, spoke. "Marcus Rylan, you have demonstrated courage, honesty, and respect. Yet a bond with the Queen carries responsibilities that reach beyond personal connection. Are you prepared to accept these responsibilities? To protect Kael'thar and its people, to honor its customs, and to walk a path that is difficult yet sacred?" Marcus took a deep breath. "I accept. I will honor this bond, respect your people, and protect Kael'thar. I understand that this is more than a personal connection. It is a commitment to life, trust, and courage." The Queen's eyes glimmered with approval. "Then let the bond be acknowledged. Let it be a symbol to my people and to the universe that courage, honor, and heart can bridge worlds." A soft, harmonic sound filled the plaza as Giari citizens and council members extended their hands toward the couple. Energy flowed between the Queen and Marcus, surrounding them in a protective, shimmering light. Marcus felt warmth and calmness envelop him, as if the city itself acknowledged his courage and choice. The Queen took his hand, her touch both delicate and firm. "Marcus Rylan," she said, her voice musical yet commanding. "From the moment you acted to protect me, you have walked a path of bravery and integrity. Today we formalize the bond that began with courage and grows through trust. Do you vow to uphold this bond with heart, mind, and strength?" "I do," Marcus replied without hesitation. His voice carried over the plaza, steady and sincere. The Queen's gaze softened further. "Then I vow the same. Together we will protect, guide, and honor Kelthar. Together, we will face whatever challenges arise with courage and wisdom." The energy around them intensified, the shimmering light connecting Marcus and the Queen as the citizens and council observed in awe. Marcus felt a surge of connection, not only with the Queen, but with the people, the city, and the living essence of Kelthar itself. The weight of responsibility was heavy, yet it was balanced by a profound sense of belonging. When the energy faded, the plaza was silent for a moment, as if the entire city was reflecting on what had just occurred. Then a chorus of acknowledgement rose from the citizens, a mixture of soft hums, melodic sounds, and respectful bows. Marcus realized that he had not only survived and acted bravely, but had earned trust and acceptance in a way he had never imagined possible. The Queen turned to him, her violet eyes gleaming. "You have proven that humans are capable of extraordinary courage and integrity, but more than that, you have shown that a heart guided by honor can inspire others even across species." Marcus swallowed, feeling both pride and humility. "I only did what I felt I had to do," he said, "but I'm honored to walk this path with you and your people." The Queen smiled, a rare, radiant expression. "Then let us begin this journey together, not just as a human and a GRE Queen, but as partners in the protection, guidance, and prosperity of Kelthar." The day continued with celebrations, as citizens gathered to honor the formal bond. Marcus participated in traditional ceremonies, learning gestures, words, and actions that symbolized respect, unity, and protection. Each moment deepened his understanding of the GRE culture and his role within it. Later, as the twin suns set, Marcus and the Queen walked along a balcony overlooking the glowing jungle. The bioluminescent plants sparkled like stars, and the air was filled with the soft hum of life. "You have grown quickly," the Queen said softly, "not only in courage but in understanding. Today you walked a path that few humans could even imagine, and yet you did so with heart and honor." Marcus smiled, feeling the weight of the day lift slightly. "I never imagined this, ever. Saving your life was instinct, yes, but now I understand what it means to truly be part of something greater. To protect, to learn, and to belong." The Queen placed her hand on his, the energy between them a quiet but powerful current. "That is what matters. Courage brought you here. Honor and integrity will guide your path. And trust. Trust will strengthen the bond between us and between our peoples." Marcus looked out over Kelthar, the glowing towers, the luminous forests, and the city alive with light and energy. He realized that his journey as an explorer had been only the beginning. Now he was part of a story that spanned species, worlds, and the stars themselves, and he had chosen to walk this path with courage, heart, and honor. "Whatever comes next," Marcus said softly, "we face it together." The Queen's violet eyes glimmered in the fading light. "Yes, together. And together, we will protect Kelthar, guide its people, and honor the bond forged in courage, trust, and choice. Your human spirit has proven itself remarkable, Marcus Rylan. And for that, the future of Kelthar is brighter than ever." As night fell over the glowing city, Marcus felt a sense of purpose and belonging unlike anything he had ever known. He had faced danger, learned the ways of a new world, and now stood as a partner to a queen, a protector of a people, and a symbol of courage that transcended species. The stars above Kelthar seemed to shine a little brighter that night, as if acknowledging the union and the bravery that had made it possible. Marcus knew that challenges would come again, that threats might arise from distant worlds, and that his path would demand constant courage and wisdom. But he also knew this. He was no longer merely an observer of the universe. He was part of it, connected to something greater than himself and walking a path that required both heart and honor. And with the Queen by his side, Marcus Rylan understood that together, they could face whatever the cosmos had in store, and so, under the twin moons and the glowing canopy of Kelthar, a human and a queen stood united not by obligation or convenience, but by courage, trust, and a bond forged in the moments that defined heroes. The journey was only beginning, but for the first time Marcus felt certain of one thing. He was home.